Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us for the Green Screen Conference, The Future is Green, and for our panel, Sustainability in Practice. We have a great group of panelists here today with me. We have Monika Glowacka from Watch Film Commission. She is representing the Regional Film Commission, and she initiated green changes in the region and appointed a green group called Film for Climate. Then we have Radka Babincová, who is a producer from Slovakia, and she implemented some sustainable practices on set. Then we have Alina Grigor, who is a director, writer, and actress, and she just had her film screened at San Sebastian Film Festival very successfully, and she received an award as well. And we have Tim Wagendorp representing production funded by BAF, the Flemish Film Fund, and she is the sustainability coordinator. So hello, and thank you for being here with us. So our panel is going to look into some of the topics, how different players in value chain can play different roles to achieve the same goal, and how we can make sure we work on the same challenge and push each other forward. So my first question is to Monika Glowacka. You and your film commission played an incredible role when regional institutions inspired other regions and national bodies in Poland to point out that sustainability in film production is an issue they should pay attention to. Can you describe this important journey of Watch Film Commission?
Yes, hello, Zuzana. Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for your invitation. Although we haven't been a partner of Green Screen, but thanks to Green Screen, I think that partially it started in Poland. But actually, yes, we were very inspired by our Synergy partners because we're a member of Synergy organization and Green Regio subgroup. So we saw what are the examples of different activities, different solutions, programs in Europe. And we decided that we have to finally do something, and we would like to start from our region, the central part of Poland. So in 2019, 2020, we decided to sign a Green Manifesto and to start qualifying green costs. And also it was connected with other changes. So we put in our application form a separate sheet dedicated to the green filming. We, of course, also prepared some guidelines and it was matched together. But also we are a member of the regional film funds in Polish Producers Alliance. We started to convince our Polish regions to implement our application form, including those green solutions. And finally, we managed. So also other regions, almost 90% of regional film funds in Poland are now using this application form and also qualifying green costs. So we are very happy because of that. But afterwards, I thought that it's also there are a lot of separate activities in Poland dedicated to green filming, a lot of talks about that. And I thought that maybe it's a time to gather our efforts and to start doing something together. And that's how it started. So our informal group, which is now based on different organizations like Polish Producers Alliance, of course, but also we've got Association of Marketing Communication, we've got Ad Producers Club, we've got private production companies with green filming experience, freelancers, but also film studios, even Canal Plus, sometimes participating in our meetings. So that's how we started, and we thought that it will be good to start also an open conversation about green filming in Poland. So we knocked to the biggest Polish film festival, and together we organized one day dedicated to sustainable film production. And we also prepared a green manifesto for Polish industry, and almost all the most important associations, like also Association of Polish Filmmakers, like Polish Film Academy signed this manifesto, but also the Guild of Directors, the Guild of Producers. So we're very happy of that, but we know that's the very beginning of our activities. We also saw that there is a case of green cost in Poland, and to qualify them from the public funds. So that's why we prepared, together with Polish Producers Alliance, a list of such kind of costs, which should be also qualified from cash rebates. And there will be some amendments to this law act. So it was also opportunity for us to send the first signal that it's important for the Polish audiovisual industry. But we are also working on other tools because we know that they are very important for especially producers. So we are working on best practice database, also eco-suppliers database, and of course the workshops and the training program, which we see the most crucial right now.
Thank you very much. These are great achievements. Congratulations. We keep our fingers crossed that this will go to national level as well, maybe for the future strategy of the funds and the associations involved. So good luck with that.
Thank you.
Radka, now a question to the producer. As the topic of sustainability was present in your day-to-day life, you began to try to practice it to your work as a film producer. For sure, you had to overcome many obstacles in the beginning, but later you found out that you are not alone. What role Green Screen Project played in your professional life?
Mm-hmm. That's a very nice question, because Green Screen was very important and great engine for us as we started to think about sustainability since we established our production company, but we didn't really have any background or support here in Slovakia for this, as I think we and maybe one other producer were thinking this way. And when Slovak Film Academy agency was taking part in Green Screen and invited us to Malaga to do the workshops, it was very, very helpful for us, because we not only were able to meet experienced producers and filmmakers who already had experiences in this field and already had solutions for problems, but we also met with producers and filmmakers who were in our position and were also maybe sometimes struggling with sustainable productions, and were also looking for some examples and good practices. And it was just a great feeling to know that we are not alone, and there is this great project going on, and that we can also always exchange some experiences, and we got to know each other. And also thanks to Green Screen, we became ambassadors for sustainable shooting in Slovakia. We had this workshop in Bratislava and it was really great. We learned many things which we were able to apply to our 2 productions of our 2 feature films, which happened last and this year. And yeah, I just feel that we have this great support system, and I'm really grateful for Green Screen.
Thank you very much. This is great to hear. And I also wanted to ask now, based on your experience as the producer, you have the power to make the decisions on implementing the sustainability measures on the set. But you can also involve various departments by building from their own experience and ask them about being part of the decision making. Have you experienced any progress from the craftsmen in this change?
Well, I can feel now that when I call someone, I don't know, some head of department, they already know what my goals are, and that I'm interested in sustainability, and they're kind of like, oh, you and your sustainable shootings and productions, not meaning in a bad way, but I also think this is a great achievement that they already know that Radka and her green productions. I think that's very good, and in everyday life of filmmaker, I think people start thinking about it more with the higher demand. I think when our national fund will be ready to present some kind of support system for productions who are willing to be sustainable, I think the discussion will be even hotter for more producers and crew members and cast also. What we did in order to improve the situation is that since the beginning we communicated our goals with the crew and cast. We talked to them, we discussed what they see can be improved in their department. Of course, many times we just hit the point when we need to decide if we are able to deliver in our conditions, especially regarding the budget, or we want to be sustainable. Like, we sometimes have to make this difficult decision. But this is my goal, what we can work on and improve in future. And then we also implemented this sustainability clause in every contract we made with cast and crew. So just to make them think about it, and I think after these our 2 productions, everybody will be more experienced from that, and we can build on it in our next projects.
Yes, definitely. We really hope that we can be part of this change and to work forward together with the producers, because you are the voice that can help us make some changes in the future as well. I also wanted to encourage the audience to ask questions to our panelists. So throughout the conversation, feel free to drop your question in the chat. Let's move on to Alina. Alina, your movie Blue Moon was just awarded recently in San Sebastian Film Festival. You filmed the film in a deserted location, and you mentioned that you wanted to preserve the location, and that's why you chose for some sustainability measures, but also it was due to the financial kind of limitations. The budget was very small. Was this your initial idea already when working on the script? How the limits are part of the sustainability, the budget limits?
Yes, well, I've been working on many other scripts and on some projects. I think we started 10 years ago to think about it. And in a way, it kind of became second nature to try and make a very adaptable script, not only from the point of view of sustainability and of green filming, but also from the financial point of view and anything else. Sometimes you have to think, for example, about the actors, you could do for them better. So for us, the script is always open, and it's always open to any type of modifications until the moment you leave the set. And yes, of course, one of the biggest reasons because of for doing that was the fact that we did need to work with a very limited budget, and in a way they sustained each other, the one and the other. And what we did was that we this is what we usually do, is that first of all we think about the consumables, what we're going to consume, and we're trying to limit those. I'm going to give you an example. For example, we worked with Canvelo and we asked for clothes that were already used or returned. But most of the actors, we encouraged the actors to bring their own costumes, and it happened for this project to have more costumes that the actors brought than those that we borrowed from companies. We had the same set of cutleries and I don't know, plates and glasses and everything else. So everybody would wash those. We only used hot water for 1 hour from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. It was one bathroom for 30 people, and we had to all get in the shower for 1 hour. This was partially due to that, but also because the owner of the lodge that was up in the mountains at 1,800 meters, she was very obsessed with only using the water from the rain for for everything that means
for the hygiene.
hygiene. Yes.
Yeah, this seems like a great team building activity as well on the set.
Yeah, for us, this is something that we always write on every call sheet. We write a note about no tolerance for discriminative behavior and no tolerance for harming the planet. So that's something that we always have on our call sheet at the ending note. I can give you more examples if you want.
Sure, no, this was a nice one. But it seems that the talents approach this challenge pretty positively, right? Like the actors and other parts of the departments were kind of agreeing on this approach, right? Or there were
Yes.
any difficulties for you?
Yes, that was the biggest challenge, if you ask me, that we always encounter. How do you convince the team that's already working on a very limited budget to also have a green attitude and to work sustainable? And I always have a discussion with them right before the shooting, where I talk about how we're going to communicate and how important communication is. How important it is for the whole team to express their needs, and how important it is for everybody to listen and to try to do their best about discriminative behavior and about how we want to make this a very sustainable production. And most of the times, nobody has a problem with communicating well with discriminative behavior, but everybody has a problem with sustainable measures like, I don't know, why do I have to wash my plate, or why can't we use more hot water, or stuff like that. So what we do now is that we're trying to show them this perspective, and we're trying to find ways of in a way, you have to negotiate this position, find ways of negotiating. People usually, the team usually complains about time and money, and it's very interesting how sustainable projects are actually more or less time and money consuming in my opinion, but you have to be very disciplined with your project.
Yeah, definitely. So good luck with that. We will move to Tim because our time is nearly finishing. Tim, as a sustainability coordinator at WAF, you cooperate closely with the filmmakers, and based on your experience, you give them examples that helps them understand what could work and what wouldn't work on their project. Can you give us some examples of where carbon savings and cost savings work hand in hand?
Yes, of course. I think that a word that was mentioned before was rules, and I think we should not expect from everybody in a cast and crew to be the specialist in the environmental studies. So what we try to do as a fund is to make very clear examples, good and bad, on how sustainability measured in CO2 and budget can go hand in hand. And there was a nice example of the Flemish production Buck, the TV production, and the production saved about 68,000 euros and about 100 tons of carbon by just using clever solutions, by not using a generator, but opting for a fixed connection with a distribution box. They were able to save about 13,000 euros on energy cost and 36 tons of CO2. And by carpooling and pushing people to use public transport, they were able to reduce 13,000 kilometers of traveling. And also it didn't only have a direct measurable effect on CO2, but also on the budget. And the biggest savings they made within that production was by keeping the trucks with goods overnight near the set. And in 73 days, they didn't drive for 40,000 kilometers. It was an enormous benefit, both environmentally and budget-wise. And in some of the examples that Radka and Alina gave, sometimes sustainable choices are more expensive. You need to spend more on some eco-designed whatever solution. But by using your brain on other departments, you can really make changes and balance out these costs and benefits and make sure that people have the budget they need to do a good job and to make a great film in the end.
Thank you. And we see that many European countries and regions are creating their own sustainability strategies, which is a good sign. But is there a sense in working on one unifying strategy across Europe? And if so, who should be the governing body or institution? What do you think, Tim?
There again, we're talking about rules. I think that the work that we all do, and I think that Monica gave a nice example on her role as a local film commission, Radka as a producer, Alina as a director. I think we all have roles to play. I think there is an enormous role to play at this moment at European level. Creative media, they are now actively working on uniforming a way to push sustainability in the sector. And it's by bridging all the different visions and talents and experiences at that level that we can really make a difference. And I think the green screen taught me a lot, because the challenges in other regions, they are also challenging for me, and they teach me on how to be creative and find solutions. And I think that we should really co-create and work on this together and make a big difference together, because if we all stay stuck in our small region, then we will spend a lot of time and resources locally, but by sharing them, we can really push the topic forward.
Thank you very much. So you basically answered as well my next question, and this is how we can create the unifying approach and what role can we play in it. So I think that this was already answered, unless you have anything else to add to this. Okay, thanks. So I think that we can move on to a few questions from the audience. So we have Paulina, who is asking about, can you share some more concrete examples and or resources about how to be more sustainable in film production, not only during the actual filming, but also in pre and post-production? So we are here for more concrete examples. So you already can see these questions on the screen. So maybe Alina, you was about to give more examples.
Yes, well, as Tim said, and Susanna asked, it's extremely important to actually think about sustainability from the very early stage of developing your script. And that's going to create some sort of a discipline, not only for you, but for everybody. You're kind of going to help your team get used to this way of sustainable filming. And from the, I don't know, the moment you meet with the cast team, let's say, and you don't use plastic glasses and you don't necessarily print 2000 scripts until the moment where you start planning your sustainable filming project with your producer. The producer has the biggest role in this. Usually the director has to be a good communicator, and the director is the front person that shows that whatever the producer says about sustainable filming is right and sustainable. I think you have to take each department and look at it. We always start with the consumers, but it can be, of course, it can be something else. You can look, for example, at what we do is that we're trying to understand the polluting factors on the set. So if you take each department and you try to organize your strategy, then I think that's the best way to begin with.
Radka, do you agree with this? That it all starts with the producer? And
Yeah, I think it's very important that the producer has a clear mind about it, and that also the director, as the main creative figure of the shooting, is on the same board with the producer. Because if not, then like all crew and cast is mostly looking at the director, because we are fulfilling his or her creative vision. And like if he or she agrees that the sustainability is an important part of his work, then I think everybody cooperates more easily. And yeah, Alina.
Yeah, sorry. I wanted to say that there's always a relationship between the producer and the creator, the director, the creative team. They're always negotiating from a financial point of view. That's something that's always gonna be in the back. And I think this is the same way you should look at your relationship with sustainability. Have a negotiation. There should always be a negotiation between the producer and the director concerning sustainability, and it's very easy to be adaptable to sustainability if you really want to do this. You're not going to drop your creative input if you try to work this out.
yeah, definitely. And I think that this is a very nice conclusion of this panel as well. So I think that the most important is that we learn from each other, that we communicate to our teams and to the institutions, and that we go on and join the forces for this challenge together. So thank you very much, dear panelists, and thank you very much for being here with us.